again and again. These girls might be 10s, but I recommend chasing the bag. Keep what you had and always keep your eye on king.
What's going on, everybody? We back with another one today. We have the boy Steven Valero here.
Thank y'all very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming, man.
Yes, sir.
It's always good having another guest.
Now right before we started filming, we were talking about some up and coming tournaments coming up that you got going.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So tomorrow, actually, I don't know when this is going out, but tomorrow I'm going to Hot Springs. I'm competing in a grappling tournament. It's jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So if it goes to the full decision, which if the match goes over 7 minutes, they just go based on points. But most of the time, somebody has a submission and you just tap out or either go to sleep or an arm breaks or something. But yeah, that's tomorrow. We'll have that in Hot Springs. We'll come back. I guess. I mean, I'm at this point. I'm calling it my return debut because the last time I fought or competed is like 2.5 years ago. So it's been a while. So we're getting back into it. And then I believe June 22nd there's a jiu-jitsu competition in Conway. So that'll be nice. I'll consider that at home. It's not that far away.
Now, what got you started wanting to go into the UFC or MMA?
Into MMA?
Yeah.
In reality, I've always liked MMA, and a lot of people grew up with looking at John Jones. I know y'all know who John Jones is. He's a bad man. So I always loved John Jones, his fighting style, and he was crazy. And for some reason, I've always liked MMA. Some people ask me why don't you just get into boxing? And boxing is just one art. It's just you just throw hands and that's it. But for me, in football, you use your whole body. So I always, from day one, I loved MMA. It's like the wrestling, the kicking, the kneeing, the elbowing. It's everything about it. You can just do everything you want. And besides that, back at JHS, I don't know if you remember, we had every once in a while we had the Friday night fights. I went up there one day. You went the whole team? Dude, you went up there one day?
Yeah, I want to introduce
So I was chilling at home, I was a regular, I think I was 16 years old and we were in football, and we were pushing weights, so I was a little strong. I think at this point, this is when I was a little bit on my heavier side. It might have been junior year. I think I was 250 then, because my senior year I dropped down to 205. I was dating this girl at the time, and the guys up there were always trying to make you mad. He was sending me snaps of them, and I was like, this is a challenge. If I don't show up, I'm going to hear about it at school the whole day, the whole next week. So I went up there, and, I was like, I got to take care of some business. And luckily, for some reason, that night, the guy that usually brings the boxing gloves didn't go. And they had MMA gloves that day, and I was like, even better. I love MMA. Let's go. But it was just striking, and I think within the first 15 seconds, I'm not gonna name them, but for the first 15 seconds, I threw a straight right. Honestly, it was 10 seconds. It was real quick. We just touched gloves, and I just got in there and I threw a straight right, and I don't think I broke his nose, but he was bleeding pretty bad, and his cousin came up, and apparently he's never lost. He's a Hispanic kid, and everybody would always tell me in Mexico when he goes on vacations, he beats everybody out. And I was like, I didn't care, football, we're disciplined, they brought us up a good way, so, you shouldn't lose to somebody.
If I know Steve from football, you were aggressive in practice, so I can't even imagine when you can start swinging on folks like that.
That's also like the passion that drives me. It's same with MMA and same with football. I've always done it with passion and 100%.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
But that guy, I think he was related to him, and he was saying some stuff. Do y'all cuss on here?
Oh yeah.
Dude, he was calling me. He's like, keep the gloves on, you fucking pussy. Keep the gloves on. And I was halfway taking it off, and I was like, all right, let's go again. That one lasted 45 seconds. He did a little bit better, but I ended up throwing. I had him balled up, and I threw 2 hooks and an uppercut, and I sat him on the ground, and it was beautiful. And I had that on video.
Yeah, the $1 million baby.
Yeah, That one was amazing though. But
Know what it
honestly, I think that's what really drove me. I was like, I've always wanted to fight, and like, that was my first time ever fighting. So my first time fight experience was 2 fights in one night.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Like the adrenaline was out of the roof.
Oh,
Nowadays, no, since I do MMA every day, it's just like another day in the office. Like I get punched, and like I'm not shaking. Like everything's controlled now. But back then, like you're just crazy.
I'm about to ask, personally for you, what's worse to take? Body shot, head shot, or leg shots?
I'd honestly say it's the body shot because you don't expect it. Because the headshots, you really don't feel that either. Like when you're conditioned at a certain point, unless somebody's a real heavy hitter. My second fight, man, like we were in the 3rd round and I'm gassed out. The body shot, like you never see the body shot coming. Especially when you're tired, you're not all like tightened and clinched up. He threw a knee and like it didn't hit my liver or my kidney. Usually that's the one that will put you down. It just hit me like in the solar plex and I got winded for a good 6 seconds until I recovered. I made sure not to go down because if you go down, you're carrying somebody's weight while you're winded. That's good night. But I think it is the body shot, and that's for a lot of people because you can't control it. Like once your liver shuts down, you can't get back up. And I really can't explain how that feels because I've never really felt it. I felt body shots, not liver shots.
I wouldn't see the legs coming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go and get you. Before you throw a leg in, man, I ain't used to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't even know what to do no more.
Personally, me, I love leg kicks. A lot of people don't use them a lot, but I love them.
So you
prefer I prefer to use them. Yes, they break people's stances down. Like if you have a strong boxer, they're not focused on legs, and you'll throw 1 or 2, and they'll take their power off because they can't be as flat-footed and sit on the power. So yeah.
I meant to ask you, like, what's your free fight record?
All right, my record. Wait. Did you just say street?
Yeah.
Street. Okay.
That would technically be a street fight.
Outside the ring, you know what I'm saying?
I think street is 3 because one we have in football.
Yeah.
You know who it is? Starts with the K. I'm actually really good friends with him now.
Is it who I'm thinking? Yeah.
I'm actually really good friends with him now. Like sometimes, most of the time, and another guy, but one of them's like, but 2 out of those 3, like I actually build relationships. For some reason, like if you just let the ego go and you're like, it's good.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. And it's different for me
good, yeah.
as far as I've seen.
Yeah.
We can duke it out.
Yeah.
And we can let go of the differences and we be cool. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, with him, with that one specific person, like we're actually cool. Like we're tight.
I think it's when you said it because you got long arms. I remember just blocking him.
Yeah.
You got to reach.
Yeah, that day I was mad. But yes, as like he said, street record, I'm 3-0, and then in the cage and MMA, I'm also 3-0. Before I took that break due to an injury and some other things, I was undefeated, and I was a champion in Mississippi at 185. I was ranked 1st in Arkansas, ranked 1st in Mississippi, and out of the whole SEC, out of 375 fighters, I was ranked 25th. So I mean, in the time span that I did it, which was under a year, those 3 fights, I mean that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So just imagine if you started it just a little bit sooner.
Started, or if I didn't have the gap that I just, since I'm barely getting back into it, if I didn't have that gap, I always questioned where would I be. But I mean, we're past that time now.
Yeah.
It's let's take care of business while we can.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the injury?
What was the injury? It was a wrist injury. Most fighters have it. When you I was just going hard on the bag one day. It's a water bag. It's like the ones that you set up for power punches. And I was just going, and I was feeling a little burning sensation on my wrist, but I was in the mood, like I was locked in. So I just kept going, but it bugged me a little bit. But I no longer have it, luckily now. But it was one of those. So it was like right here on the outside.
Okay.
I no longer have it, but it was annoying because I got an X-ray. I knew it wasn't broken.
Yeah.
I got an MRI and it was nothing. And I was like, just give me like some anti-inflammatories or something. Like I need something to get fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't anything bone. I think it was like ligament.
How long did it last?
Tendon. My problem was I always wanted to punch a bag, because I'm a fighter. You just want to at least do something.
Yeah.
So like I would think I'm good after like 2-3 months, and then I'd hit the bag hard again. Like I was okay, and then like I'll do it for a couple more sessions, and then I'd feel it again, and it just never go away. And then that's after a year. That's when I finally got that X-ray and the MRI, and I just let it fully heal.
Now, you're very passionate, clearly.
Yeah.
How do you feel with all the YouTube boxing or the YouTube MMA fights? How do you feel about all that? How do you about the Jake Paul situation and the Mike Tyson fight coming
So at the beginning, I was a little on edge. I was like, they definitely have the viewership, and they definitely can bring in money.
Yeah.
So I like that they were calling it, YouTube boxing, because that's what it was. It was YouTubers and it was boxing. As long as they didn't, try and say like we're real fighters, like we've done this and
like
whatnot.
he's currently doing right now.
Yes. Now with Jake Paul at the beginning, I hated it a little bit, but he's put in some work. He's actually put in good work, So I mean, I'm not gonna take that away from him, and he's had professional help. So yeah, I mean that's what I feel about it. At the beginning, I was on edge, and like I'm not the biggest fan of it as an actual fighter.
Yeah.
But if it's bringing a new crowd and new scenery of people, I mean that's good for business, and it's also good for the sport. But as long as they stay in their lane and they call it YouTube boxing, I think that's fair. Yeah. But as of Jake Paul, I said he's a pro now, and he's doing his thing. At the beginning, my biggest concern with him was he wasn't actually fighting real fighters, or if he was, he's fighting really old fighters that were coming off injuries, or like from the UFC, Tyron Woodley. I believe he was on a 5 or 7 losing streak, and he was not in his prime at all. He was done. And then I think Nate Robinson was a basketball player. It's like he's fighting people who shouldn't be on the ring, and he actually knows how to fight.
Yeah,
definitely tuned it up.
But definitely for this next fight, I know the whole world is ready to see this.
I will definitely say I am very excited to see this one.
Do you know the details on it, like certain rounds, or if it's?
I believe it's 8 to 10 rounds. They actually made it a pro fight, so now it's actually on the record.
Okay, so it's changed now.
Yeah, but instead of 3 minutes, they're doing 2 minutes, which that favors Mike Tyson because of age. And if you've seen any of his sparring videos, he throws 200%. Like his aggression and everything is wild.
And I hear his body shots hurt.
Dude, anything he throws hurts. Anything, like he's a heavy hitter at his age, and I think he's what, 50
something.
50.
I think it's 58, 57, but
57,
he can throw. He can throw.
Yeah.
It's worse enough. You got the old man strength.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you already don't lose your strength when you're doing the stuff Mike Tyson doing.
I know.
Then with your age, it's not going over either.
Honest opinion though, who do you think? Do you think it's gonna be knockout, decision? Who do you think's gonna win it?
Personally, I think it's Mike Tyson by knockout.
So you think this is the time Jake's
But
gonna get knocked out?
I think it's going to be at least 6-7 rounds.
Yeah,
Before the knockout.
I think it'll be 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. I think early on, they'll be studying and stuff.
Yeah.
And if it definitely would have been 3-minute rounds, I would have favored Jake just because of his age and conditioning. But ever since they decided to go to 2 minutes, it definitely favors Mike Tyson since he's the peekaboo style and it's more power and aggression. But I believe Jake Paul's gonna get slapped. I really do believe.
Mike used to taking them hits, so he got to sit there and watch.
Now
he got to sit there and watch, wait on that sweet spot.
Yeah, he's just gonna sit there, come in, and he's gonna land an uppercut or two. But as a Jake Paul, if he wins, props to him.
For sure.
But if I see him winning, it's definitely by decision. It's not gonna be by knockout or anything. How do y'all see it?
That's about the same way.
Knockout?
I see it. But yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't gonna be no early knockout.
Yeah.
And then other than that, it'd be by decision.
I just wonder what kind of approach he do. When you know he got him, is he gonna tour with him to drag it out for the views?
That's why I know it's not gonna be.
But same time with Mike Tyson, so
that's why I know it's not.
He's
gonna
a
be
professional, so I mean, he's gonna know when to close it out.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna have to see. That's gonna be a good fight.
Cause he ain't about to let it go out the first, second round. Cause I'm like, what are we watching this for?
Yeah.
How close
to make it last?
Like,
when is it? I think it's in July.
July 20th or
it's like July 20th or 17th or something.
Yeah.
So it's coming up.
About a month away.
Yeah. We'll be B-Dubs probably.
Hey, B-Dubs is always the move. Hey, when I was gaining a little bit of weight, Vito's, at least twice a week.
And
That place is good.
I'm mostly for the drinks now.
Yeah.
When I don't do Vito's, I gotta get a drink. I get something to eat on just to have something on my stomach.
Hey, it's a good vibe, some food, some sports, and some drinks.
Yep.
Especially when you're with some friends and having a good time. You can spend some time going there.
Man. So taking it back, when did you very first start the MMA?
I started MMA right after football was done in high school.
Okay.
And you might remember our senior season. It left me with a sour taste. I believe we were in semis, and our kicker happened to miss an extra point.
That was
After. Let me give you some back detail.
That was a depressing.
After we had 15 seconds left at our 25-yard line. No timeouts. We got to the 50-yard line with 2 out plays. We throw a Hail Mary on the buzzer, 50, 60-yard bomb. We score. We need to score this extra point to go into overtime. And we were destroying them by this point. So overtime would have been nice. Or even if we would have gone for 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and say blame because nobody really knows to this day. Nobody knows if it's the holder or the kicker.
Right.
But he ended up missing that kick, and I went from so high emotions to so low, and it drove me to want to do a sport where if I won a championship or something, it was all on me.
Yeah.
Training partners and coaches are very important, but at the end of the day, if you're not putting in the hard work, it's going to come down to you and nobody else.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like I was robbed of. I played all I could that game because you play every game like it's your last whenever you're senior, and just to end the season like that and lose by 1 point, it left me with a sour taste. So that's what got me into MMA. Really.
It was crazy because as soon as they missed it, you just see everybody drop.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
that was
So I want to say
impressive.
2019. I think before May. So I think May 2019. That's when I started full-time MMA.
So that's right after you graduated then.
Yes. But then I was only doing just wrestling and jiu-jitsu. After about a year and a half, that's when I started involving my striking and everything.
And how much of that was just, at first, just anger coming out of the season and everything?
There was a little bit of it. When everybody starts jiu-jitsu, you really don't know what to expect. When you go live rounds against other people, you want to go 100% because you don't want to lose and stuff. But the biggest thing, the coaches tell you is just you got to leave your brute strength. So they knew I could bench press, they knew I could squat, but you don't want to use your strength. You want to use your technique. So if you leave, anytime I've put in some friends on the gym, the MMA gym, because that's also a really good way to lose weight because it's a lot of movement. But they've always told me to not use strength and just use technique, because if you leave your ego at home, you're gonna learn a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things that they've told me that you can learn from. You just gotta leave it. You gotta leave it at home, and you'll adapt as a fighter, as a competitor, even more.
Have you had to overcome, and I think everybody at some point has gotten a little bit ego with himself, but have you ever had to take a step back and be like, all right, Steve, chill the hell out. You're getting a little bit too big. You need to get back down before you lose sight of everything.
Are we talking about weight, or are we talking about during sparring? I went too aggressive.
Went too aggressive, or thought you could easily beat him in practice. Just the ego was getting too big.
Maybe early on, maybe let's say 2 months in or something like that. It was maybe my training partner that I trained with every day. But that's just wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And that's how I like to train now. When I do wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I like to go 100% because you're not hitting each other, And as long as you're safe with submissions and stuff, and you don't crank it hard, you're not gonna hurt your partner because you have control of what they're doing once you have the submission. So there's no reason to go hard. But sparring wise, I don't think so. Anytime I actually have to use a lot of aggression or power is when it's usually when we get the newer people we'll let them set the pace, and then we'll just match it.
Yeah.
But if they get overly excited, or like how I say ego, you know, you got to throw one good one to be like, chill out. And then that's when we bring down the pace.
Okay.
But if they decide, you know, they want to pick it up, which usually 99% of the time they're gonna chill. You know, then we'll go back to like, you know, just playing around and just learning, you know, because it's just learning, it's practice. You know, our coaches have always told us, you don't want to hurt your training partner because he's the person who's going to come in tomorrow and help you train. So if you hurt him and he's out for 5 months, that's one partner less, you know? So, yeah.
I was going to ask you, how do you prepare for your fights and whatnot?
Usually I'd like to have a 3-month training camp. That's what fighters do, minimum. A 3-month fighter training camp. So that's just based on like, if you usually most fighters on weight, they're usually like 15, 20 pounds off. So you'll have that 3 months to cut that weight slowly, not quick. And you know, you just do your training. If I'm gonna tell you what my training looks like, as soon as I get off work at 4:30, I'm at the gym at 5, from 5 to 6:30, and then from 7 to 9, I go to MMA. And that's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So basically on those days, I have nothing else to do. Like, I can do nothing else. I have to eat real quick, go to the gym, shower, go straight to MMA, go home. I might do gaming for like an hour or two just to say I had a little bit of free time.
Yeah.
And then I go to sleep and it's repeat. Especially if it's Monday. You do the same thing on Tuesday. And then I would love to say my Wednesdays and Fridays are my free time, but in reality it's not. I'm with my strength and conditioning coach on Wednesdays and Fridays, but as soon as I'm done at like 6:30 or 7, you know, I have a little bit more time rather than like minimal time.
Yeah.
So I'm always grinding, trying to get better. And then on Saturdays, I usually do like a one-on-one boxing session just because I want to get better. But in reality, Sundays are probably my free days, and that's just one day a week. So
I want to ask you, like, because I hear in like the fighting in MMA world, like they normally try to cut out 6 and stuff like that up until
that's an interesting question. Yeah, I also do that. So
what does it do?
So it the
I can see you keep more testosterone.
The thought behind it is you keep testosterone.
Okay.
So I had training practices before where like maybe the night before, you know, I got down and dirty, and then I'll go to training and I'll do sparring, or even when I'm powerlifting and I'm lifting heavy weights, if I miss that weight, I'm like, I knew exactly what it was. Or like,
you know
yes, and like, and when you're training also, like you're just not as sharp and stuff, and you're like, I think I know exactly what it is. You don't want to say, but just for fights, for safe, I usually do 2 weeks. Okay. 2 weeks is a good basis, you know, because you have that aggression, you know, you just want to get it out, and yeah.
And when you're getting ready to fight, and I'm assuming you get locked in, how distant are you from everybody? Like, do people hear from you, or like you just
not really
ghost?
I mean, most recently I've been trying to put out more content, but besides content, with hanging out and like partying or like being with friends, I'm pretty distant. Like I already said, I only have one free day a week, which is Sunday, so it's pretty tough to be moving stuff around. But like, if there's something important or a friend asks me to hang out, you know, I'm gonna try and make time.
Yeah.
But it's just real tough. So
is there anybody in your life that, like, family wise or girlfriend wise, that like how they dealt with it, the, you know, going distant or keeping yourself, just staying locked in, just
yeah. So currently I'm not in a relationship, but with my ex, I mean, she knew my passion and my goal, so she respected it. It made it easier that she was in college, 2 hours away. So I'd hang out with her during the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Monday through Friday, you know, I could grind and get my sessions in without wondering, like, you know, am I giving that person enough time and affection? Because, you know, they got to feel a certain way too. They're like, you know, I'm alone during these hours or whatnot. But it's good. I mean, it's good.
No sex for a female?
Yeah.
That's love if they stick it out like that. I like that.
And then with friends and all, like they understand.
Yeah.
You know, whenever the fights happen, they go and support me. Like they love the live action. If you ever been to an MMA fight or a boxing fight live, it's amazing.
I definitely want to see how Bo is. 'Cause I remember how turned Bo gets just at like volleyball games. So I definitely.
No, yeah, he gets turned.
If you a MMA fight, I definitely would love to see that.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're extremely busy when you're going at it.
Yes.
So outside of that, who is Steven Valero? Like, what do you like to do outside of everything?
Outside of everything, just my activities. Number one, I mean, I'd say like a lot of guys, just gaming. I love gaming. I gotta have a PC. You know, I play a little bit of everything. So gaming, you know, is like a lot of people don't like girls. They think about like, oh, they don't want to hang out with us and stuff. Gaming is like therapy for the boys.
Yeah.
You know, you hop on the boys, you play some Call of Duty or whatever you want, like Madden, 2K. Like it doesn't matter. It's just
gaming. Gaming keeps a man in the house.
Yes, it keeps.
You ain't got to worry about if I'm out here doing this or this. I'm at home
Yeah,
doing
I'm
this.
at home playing this, and I'm with my
You
boys.
can be right behind me on
Yeah.
TikTok or rubbing my shoulders, whatever.
For sure.
But this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know this is where
For
I'm at.
sure.
Gaming is a trip. Like it be a roller coaster. It be high moments, low moments.
Low moments. Because the thing about gaming too, you know, I've always been a competitor. Like I told you about passion. Any game I play, I usually do ranked. So like I want it to be ranked. I want to play ranked play every time I'm playing because I want to be able to compete. You know, I don't want to play a casual or a quick match. I want to be ranked. Besides gaming, when I had the break from MMA, I got real good at bowling. I got real good at. Most recently, I picked up pool.
Okay.
You know, pool, a little bit of pool. Disc golf. Disc golf is real interesting. It's pretty hard.
I've never.
Disc golf.
Sounds
So
like
it's just like golf,
frisbee?
but it's with like the little frisbee's a little bit
Okay.
bigger. These are a little thicker and thinner.
Oh, okay,
So kind of like they got it cricket.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's the little baskets with the chains.
Yeah.
It's that small target.
Okay.
So you got to make it in there.
sounds
You know, it's just like golf. So you got to make it in there with the least attempts as you can. But sometimes you'll throw one and it'll just go to Narnia. It'll go out.
See, I cannot. It's the fact that like how competitive you are.
Yeah.
I just as you get older, I'm just like I know you're not. You're just gonna get more and more
Yeah.
like. What is a 70 to 80-year-old Valero gonna be like? Just being on the elderly side, just still whooping ass and shit and wanting to be competitive.
No, I don't know. I think then, I don't know, as an old head, I might just do competitive chess or something. Because, you know, I don't know how much mobility I'll have by then.
How long you see yourself doing MMA?
Usually MMA peak. If everything works out well, you know, hopefully, you know, pray to God, because God is everything. Hopefully, I'll make it pro and I can hopefully get to like age 36. That'll be a good stopping point, 35, 36. Because anything after that, you know, most of the time you're not in your prime anymore, and usually you've made a pretty decent amount of cash by then.
At least,
And
at
then
least
also-
you know this ahead of time.
Yeah, and also, you know, it's very important, like health-wise, like make sure like you don't have any big injuries with them, because you never know when your ACL can give out or something. But yeah.
So, let's say you make it career success and you finally call it.
Yeah.
What would be like the next? Would you want to commentate certain fights? Would you want to?
Yeah, anything's interesting. Honestly, the biggest thing, if I still have the passion and drive, which I think I will, because I love MMA, I do it currently with a lot of my training partners. You know, I'll bring them to the side and I'll start correcting them in techniques, and I'm like, hey, let me help you out with this, or have you ever seen this, or see it from this perspective?
Yeah.
And most of the time they're like, oh, like, thank you a lot for helping me with this. Like, I would have never gotten this. So I think, honestly, I'm probably just coaching just
You'd be a good coach.
the fighters that are upcoming in the next couple decades. So
I can see that because
Yeah.
there's plenty of times in practice
Yeah.
you told them about what's
Oh,
what
God.
so,
Nah,
I'm not surprised by that.
I will definitely say, even though you I do believe me and you bumped heads a little bit, because I'm not gonna lie, when we first moved up from MacArthur to JHS, I did not give two shits. I was not trying to practice, was not trying to run.
You see somebody like that, you do real
And me and him bumped heads a lot, but I'll definitely you were one of the few people that didn't.
I was about to say, I don't think
on me. You definitely got in my ass, but it was for a reason. And
I was about to say, I don't think I ever became aggressive either. I think it was just trying to motivate you.
It was
to push forward.
And it was me being selfish. I didn't want to perform. I was more like, hey man, I'm in high school,
And I don't blame you, bro. If I think about it right now, if I was 315 and playing football during those summer workouts, I don't know if I could have survived. And you were doing them. So, I mean, at least you were out there doing some work. Because I could not envision myself. Like I said, I don't know if you knew, but during, I just got done losing 110 pounds in this last year. Whenever I started my weight loss, I think the first run I got to in the treadmill was 0.25 or 0.3. So it was like a fourth of a mile. That's nothing.
Yeah. And
I was already tired and I was giving up and stuff. So it's really tough, man. At the beginning, and especially at that weight.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's cool you talk about your weight loss, because a year ago we used to see you at the gym and whatnot. So cool to see you slim down a little bit.
Yeah, 110 pounds is no joke, because not a lot of people, even in a year, some people can't even do 35, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm gonna keep on saying, and I have the drive and the passion. And for me, it's every day. If I wasn't working out, I felt like I was holding myself back. So every day I wanted to see weight go down, and I guess that's where I got to now. And I did make a promise to myself, and I even made an Instagram post last year, sometime this time, and I said, 2024, early 2024, I'm gonna come back, and I promise.
I was on your Facebook looking, and as you mentioned that, I saw that exact post.
Yeah.
Late 2023, early 2024, I'm coming back, and here you are talking about going to tournaments and everything.
With all the weight and the shaking it off and stuff like that, you've been in a different weight class.
I'll be in the same weight class for my debut fight. I'll be at middleweight at 185, and once I get 185 out of the way, I believe I'm gonna just do one, and then we'll go and fight at 170. Which now for a lot of people that don't know is I fight at 185, but I'll weigh in the next day at fight. At fight day, I might weigh in 200, 205. It's a 15-pound water weight cut. Okay. So if I'm fighting at 170, naturally I might weigh 185, 190.
Okay. Now, I know you said you were going to fight in one weight, but if you could move to whatever other weight, which one would you
if I could choose a weight?
If you could.
So my ultimate goal, which would be really tough, would be 155. I believe that's the lightweight division. That would be perfect weight and height for me, because what a lot of people don't also think is whenever you come down in weight, the height comes down too. So say if you fight heavyweight, everybody's 6'3" and jacked and big, and 205, they're still big, but they're a lot more leaner. So it's in between 6'1" and 6'4". 185, you come to the tallest you'll get is 5'10", which I'm 5'9", so I'm grinding out here. So 5'10" and 6'1", 6'2", and then 170 is usually 5'9" to 6 foot, and then 155 probably 5'8" to 5'10". So that's the optimal goal. So if I can get there at pro, because I'm for sure when I get to 155, I'll probably be when I'm a pro. That'll be a perfect weight class, but that's gonna take a lot.
155.
Because I'll be 170.
All the way from what you said,
315. Yeah, that's when you think about it. When you think about it like that, that's a lot. Now, 2 years ago, when I didn't stop MMA and I thought about it, and I was around 205, I would have been like, we're not that far off. We gotta lose 30 pounds. We'll get to 170. We'll weight cut to 155. But when you put it in that aspect, 315, you're like, that's a lot of weight. Yeah.
You did it, man. I salute you on that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Dedication right there, man. Grinding.
Yeah, no, for sure. Shoot, man. It seems like It's crazy to think you haven't been doing this for a long time, honestly.
No, I really haven't. Like, I think I trained before I did my first jiu-jitsu competition. I think I trained 6 months, and then before I took the break, total training in MMA, I think it was like 2.5 years. And then I took that. No, I'd say 3 years. I don't want to hold it back and then me get called out. So I'll just add a little extra time. I think 3 years total. And I told you I started the striking a little late after 1.5 years. So I mean, however you want to throw that in there, but like probably like 2 years, 8 months, and then I took that break, and then I'm back. But total, like on and off, I'd probably say 4 years. On and off.
You see people
3.5 years.
do this since they're like that big.
Yes.
And
Now those are the monsters. If your parents put
Oh,
you in
yeah.
there and from day
those
one,
are the dangerous
yes,
ones.
those are
I
dangerous
expect them to be
ones.
real technical.
Oh
Yes.
yes, those people.
Yes.
But it's insane because you see how much they progress and they've been doing it since like that big.
Yeah.
But you see where you're at right now, and you haven't been doing it like.
No, yeah.
That's the way I look. I'm like, what if Steven never did football? Like, what if he went straight into MMA? Where would you like? That's how I look at
Where
it.
would
Like,
I be?
where would you be?
Yeah. I mean, that's just a question you're always gonna ask.
Yeah.
You're always gonna ask yourself, you know. One of the biggest things that I wanted to ask myself before I lost 110 pounds and got back into MMA was, if I don't get back to this, one day when I'm in my deathbed, am I gonna sit there and regret and think, why didn't I try one more time?
Yeah.
So that was my biggest thing. But luckily, you know, we're right back in it.
So here's kind of a deep question. Real quick.
Anything deep, we can get real deep.
Since you had mentioned that,
Yeah.
let's God forbid,
Yeah.
let's say you're on your deathbed right now. Can you look at everything you've done and been like, yeah, I'm proud of everything?
You know, I'll probably have a little bit more itch on like what I could have done, because then I think then I'll regret like, you know, that 2-year gap. But honestly, I think I'd be proud of myself, because not a lot of people can do what I or you did. You know, 110 pounds, or I honestly, how much did you lose? 'Cause it was a lot.
I was 350 when I first started to lose weight, and now I'm like 175 now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's more than me. So I mean, that's
Straight up
wild. That's respect, man. But I think the biggest thing would just be, you know, I'd be happy with how I finished off, because I didn't finish off quitting.
Yeah.
You know, I was on the way to get back to where I was, because tomorrow I'll be right in the spot where I prayed to be one day. You know, I asked him, I was like, just give me one more shot, and I promise I won't screw this up. And tomorrow I'll be standing right where I was praying about. So
It's good.
so yeah.
Now these fights, are they streaming anywhere? Like, can we go on any site and check them out?
I believe I should be streaming on my Instagram Live that day, tomorrow. So we'll be on Instagram Live or Facebook Live.
What's your Insta?
And then for full videos, you know, I'll be recording on my camera, and for photos, you know, those take like a week, because, you know, it's professionally taken and whatnot. So yeah.
What's your Insta?
My Instagram is _alpha_MMA, or if you can't find me under that, Steven Valero, my name, and that's all across either Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch.
Before we wrap this up, boys,
I got one for you. I bet too.
I was about to say, go ahead.
I want to ask you, like, what's your goal when you eat? Like, what gets you going?
What gets me going in like what aspect?
Just life.
What gets me going in
And
life?
then we can go into MMA.
It's honestly the biggest thing that I've always told myself is learn at least one thing new every day. My coach taught me that in jiu-jitsu. He said, if I teach you 4 to 5 things in this day, I don't want you to learn all of them.
Right.
I want you to leave the room learning one thing. And ever since he told me that, as a in real life perspective, I've told myself out of MMA, did I learn one thing new today, or did I become a better man than I was yesterday? And that's the biggest thing for me personally, is just, did I become a better person, a better man?
I can get down with that.
I can, yeah.
Not in the MMA side, like what gets you going?
What gets me going from MMA? I don't know. MMA is just one of those things. Like if you have the itch, and you're good at it. At least you think you're good at it. Because I'm not even close to what like my prime is. Because if you go pro and you adapt, you definitely get a better team around you and all that, and you become something you never knew. And that just takes time, practice, and training. But for MMA, what gets me going is just, like I said, becoming a better person. Every day I go to training, I learn something new, and I'm just getting better as a fighter and just making everybody proud. I want to represent Jonesboro and then ultimately Arkansas. So yeah.
Sure. So, a little bit off the topic. It's been a year, you lost 100 or
Yes,
some
sir.
pounds. What was the most pounds you lost in 1 month?
The most, I want to say it was either the first month or the second month. I want to say the first month I did close to 30.
Okay.
I think it was like 24, 23. And then once you get closer to like your more natural weight, it's harder to lose it.
Yeah.
And then you'll have in the time in between there where you're like, oh, let's have a cheat meal and stuff. But I didn't start doing cheat meals until I got to like month 6 or 7. But yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I did do cheat meals. I ain't gonna say I ate them.
Yeah.
It was kind of pathetic, and
Yeah.
I would eat, chew the food,
Yeah.
spit it out.
Oh, really?
I would refuse to swallow it, so I could just have the taste.
One crazy thing for me that I've always done during like a weight cut or when I'm close to a fight and like there's a party or like a friend's party or birthday party, whatever, cake or sweets, I'll get close to it and I'll just get a good whiff, and then I'll step back and be like, all right, that's good enough. I know exactly what it tastes like. Yeah.
I'll tell them that. Those days were desperate. Like I remember Wendy's cheeseburger.
Yes.
It goes in the trash,
Everything's
but
so
hey,
good.
I got a little bit of taste and then right back to myself.
I'm not even gonna lie, when I was 315, like it didn't matter where I was going, I was eating. Like that's like I got to a good point where like the spicy Popeyes chicken sandwiches are good. I was doing like 2 or 3 of them. I'm not even joking. It was not good for me, but I was having a good time.
Man, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
is there anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to say thank you to, or just?
Yeah, I have a couple of people. When I first, before I get into that, what got me to lose all the weight, I just got done being in a 3-year relationship, and I always told myself that I'd never thought I'd be the guy that would experience it, because I always heard about it. I always heard about guys saying, whenever that one hurts, that one relationship is going to change you as a man, and everybody needs it in order to become the person you are. And I never thought it would be it. I'd ever be the person. We broke up, we were on good terms and stuff, and that's when I knew I had to lock in and make a full commitment to come back. But during that period, the first month, it was probably the worst time, because I was down, and I was also trying to motivate myself to go to the gym at the same time.
Yeah.
But during that time, I have a friend in Atlanta, his name's Heriberto Avila. He's Hispanic. We call him short for a Harry. He's gamer tag. He's a long friend from gaming. You know how I said? I've known him since Black Ops 2, so that's like 10 years. So he's a brother to me. But even though he wasn't there to work out with me, he kept me in check every day, making sure I went to the gym, and just mentally as a friend. Like, you need somebody to help you move forward during those hard times. And then my training partner that I went to, my gym buddy every day, in between when I was 315 all the way to 230. So that was probably like a good 9 months at the gym with him every day. And he kept me in check, made sure I went every day. Because as you know, like there's days where you're like, I'm ready to work out. Mm-hmm. And there's days where you get home and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yep.
And that's the hardest part. So like I had motivation for the first 2-3 weeks because of the breakup. After that, it was all discipline because there was no more motivation. And then every now and then you'll find some type of motivation. You might find like your gym crush, or you'll find some type of motivation. You know,
you will, especially go to the gym.
So yeah, but my gym buddy Justin Cole, he definitely helped me out through that whole process, and then also my strength and conditioning coach. Shout out to him, the biggest. All my sessions he did for free, and I'll appreciate him forever. You know, and personal trainers are usually charging you $60 to $80 an hour.
Right.
We were doing it from Monday to Friday, and I want to say is when I got to the weight 260 all the way till now. You know, I did 3 full cycles with him that would last 2 months. So I did 6 months in training total with him, and I definitely saw my numbers spike. Like my bench press, my squat, everything was up. So Norm Judd, I give you the biggest thank you and everything that you've done for me, because that was one of the biggest help that I needed.
That just shows you there's actual people who still want people to succeed.
Yeah. And then besides that, you know, friends every now and then, even when I was a little bit bigger, or whenever I made that post about me coming back, I would see people at the store and they'd just be like, "Hey man, when you come back to fighting?" That's the first question I always get. I was like, "When are you fighting, man? Like, I want to see you again." And I'm like, "Soon, bro, soon." But now I can luckily say, like, I have a tournament here, or I'm actually fighting in 2 months. So that it feels good. It feels good being able to say that.
Oh, I bet it does. Sure, y'all got anything before we wrap this up?
You can ask whatever, anything y'all have.
Is that it?
Don't keep it loaded. You really got too much of it.
Yeah, anything you want to talk about?
I mean, we went through the weight loss, MMA, the relationship. The relationship was tough. I mean, like I said, that's one of the biggest things for a man. If you ever actually had that one heartbreak, because there will be some guys that might be lucky and they might not ever have that.
Yep.
They might date their high school sweetheart or college partner and go for life. But
My times at my lowest, like mental, was from breakup.
Was that? Yeah. But honestly, it brings the best out of you.
Yeah.
It brings a different person out of you.
It do.
And you know, that's what I've learned and I've adapted. You know, I tried as much as I can not to become a cold-hearted person, because you can most definitely become a villain per se, or whatever you want. But yeah, you know, I use that to grind, go to the gym, and come back to MMA. But yeah.
So we'll throw this out there real quick, just for the boys, because we mentioned the game and everything, and we all know how competitive you are.
Yeah.
Is there any possible way we might get a Stephen Valero group chat leak in the near future one day?
Leak of what?
Oh, just, you know how the boys are on the group chats in the game.
The leak? Oh, those leaks. No.
Are we expecting any of those one day?
I don't know. I think my boys are straight, and I think if there is any leaks, it's like younger me, like 16, 17. Mm-hmm. But like as a more mature person now, I think I'm good, but I don't think there ever will be.
I know mine ain't safe.
But all I'm saying is, if there was like, from day one when we started playing, I know we can all feel this. If Xbox or PlayStation or whatever you use, Skype, if they started recording since day one, nobody's making it to heaven.
No,
we're all cooked.
No.
We're all going to court. We're all going to do some time in prison because we all said some things we shouldn't have.
Ruthless.
Yeah. But that brings the best memories of the boys.
They do.
You know, because you can bring that good humor and like nobody's tripping, but.
That's the best thing I love about it, because I be rolling the whole time.
Yeah, we're always rolling.
Just listening.
Yeah.
My stomach, I can't even play the game. I'm just in here now.
Yeah.
Those are the best times, though.
It does.
Oh, God.
Roller can kick you offline and all the kind of shit you didn't know about.
I think people get banned.
Yes.
Everything. And I'm like, dang, is that serious?
No, yeah.
But nah, y'all go check out Steven, his upcoming fights. This man gonna come out more.
Yes, sir.
I'm expecting a big thing from him.
Yes,
Especially
sir.
since he's back. Especially since you back, I'm expecting a lot.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
This year, definitely, we're at least going to aim for 2 to 3 fights. I want to be really active this year. So we'll get done with those 2 tournaments. we'll at least get done with 2 fights, and then we're just gonna keep pushing forward. There's no more stopping this train. So,
Don't talk about.
And you heard it here first. We out.
So.
See y'all guys.